this one about the Facebook outage. And we're going to tie in how this was measurable with AT&T, because I don't necessarily have the data from the other carriers, but we do have some data from AT&T. Okay, so earlier this week, and this is a story that actually is from Bevan Fletcher, fiercewireless.com, AT&T's mobile traffic dropped 10% in some cities during the Facebook outage this week. So, social media is really, it's got our society by the cojones, right? It really is a big part of what we do in our day-to-day lives. For the most part, if you're not using one social media app, you're using two, possibly three. And I don't want to speak for everybody, but a large majority of people have at least one social media platform. It might be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be TikTok, it could be Twitter. I mean, there's several different types, Clubhouse, all these things. According to some second quarter data from 2021, wireless consumers spent a whopping 740 billion hours on social media applications. And that's substantial. So that means if an app like TikTok or Twitter or Facebook, in this case, when they go down, that really puts people in a tizzy. AT&T actually came out with some data. They said they saw noticeable drops in mobile traffic in major cities earlier this week when Facebook and its popular app, Instagram, and other apps, including WhatsApp and the Messenger app, all went down and were offline for several hours during a massive global outage. So this was not just in the US. This was not in a specific state. It wasn't even in like the Western Hemisphere. It was absolutely global for them. So I would assume that whatever native servers they were using, something was compromised and they have their global outage. In two cities specifically here in the United States, mobile traffic declines hit double digits. So in New York City, 11% decrease usage, and in Houston, 10.6% decrease in usage in data on Monday during the several-hour outage of Facebook and the related apps. So Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, the Messenger, those different apps. It coincided with a disruption across several top social media platforms, according to AT&T. So it's pretty evident that this was something that really bothered a lot of people. I heard people were going into carrier stores and complaining. They were calling into customer care and saying, "What's wrong with my phone?" to show you that they primarily use their phone for apps like social media apps. So they're going in the stores and they're complaining about their phone not working, but in actuality, it was the app itself. So I thought that was kind of entertaining and funny. I was speaking to somebody who worked at a T-Mobile store, and they had customers going in there saying, "What's wrong with your service? What is going on? There's outages and all that." And turns out it was just the apps themselves. Mobile traffic on AT&T's network in Arkansas and in Miami, South Florida plunged 9.9% each. Chicago was down 9.2% during that time. So they almost made the threshold. They almost cracked that 10% mark. The stats give an indication as to how much traffic is tied to social media and messaging services. As of the end of June of this year, AT&T had more than 191 million mobility subscribers and connections, including connected devices. So AT&T is a big carrier. They have postpaid subscribers, they have prepaid subscribers, they have connected vehicles, they have alarms, they have devices, point of sales and, vending machines. I mean, they've got all these different connected devices. So when they start disclosing these things, they have a lot of connections. AT&T shared statistics for 6 other markets that all saw mobile traffic impacts that were down more than 6%. Los Angeles, California was down 8.8% in data usage. Dallas was 8.7% down. Atlanta, North Georgia was 8.6% in a decrease. San Antonio 7.4%, Sacramento 6.8%, San Francisco 6.7%. Verizon did not comment or offer any type of disclosure in network traffic trending during this outage. T-Mobile didn't release any information either. So the only thing we're going off of right now is Facebook and the associated apps, and how it pertains to AT&T customer usage. So I wish I had more to give you, but that's all we got right now. It would be interesting to know if we can get some data from the other carriers, just to kind of see if we see something similar. I would assume it'd be similar. I wouldn't expect it to be much different. Facebook's platforms are used by individuals as well as businesses, with the number of daily average users across the suite of apps approaching 3 billion users. Holy cow. So WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, I mean, and the Messenger especially, like, these apps are used heavily. This was a release statement from Facebook VP of Infrastructure, Santosh Janardhan, if I said that right. October 4th outage, he said, "To all the people and businesses around the world who depend on us, we are sorry for the inconvenience caused by today's outage across all of our platforms." The social media giant said global disruption to its platforms and services wasn't because of any malicious activity, and no user data was compromised. According to Facebook, the problem happened during routine maintenance when a router configuration unintentionally took down its entire backbone network, effectively disconnecting Facebook data centers across the globe. The secondary quote from the VP also, "Our systems are designed to audit commands like these to prevent mistakes like this, but a bug in the audit tool prevented it from properly stopping the command. This change caused a complete disconnection of our server connections between our data center and the internet. The problem then cascaded as the backbone network outage saw backup protocols meant to protect access to operational servers and took tools offline that the company would normally use to investigate and resolve the issue." So the backup plan was failing just in case something was to happen. So it looks like it was a pretty bad mess. Mobile social media apps and the amount of time users spend with them continue to boom. According to App Annie, consumers download 4.7 billion social media apps in the first half of 2021 alone. In the second quarter of 2021, consumers spent a whopping 740 billion hours on social apps, which the research firm said equates to 44% of all time spent on mobile. So that means when someone is using their smartphone, almost 50% of that engaged time on the device is on a social media app. That is incredible. Facebook's massive outage came the same week as a whistleblower testified before Congress over internal documents showing harms from the tech giant's products. Not a good week for Facebook. So they were in a bunch of doo-doo in front of Congress over those internal documents and what they've been up to. And then they had the outage. And it was a pretty big outage. To be down for that many hours for such a huge platform is a long time. So, interesting stuff there. I don't really have any comments specifically about the story. I think it's impressive as to how much people are using these social media apps. It almost begs the question, how much is too much? You know, to be on your smartphone for X number of minutes, X number of hours, and then 44% of that is social media apps. It's incredible. It is an outrageous number. It is so astounding. It really is. I think the more interesting piece is how, you know, AT&T's network was noticeably less congested. You know, they saw a huge drop in data traffic with Facebook being down, right? What's up, Big Lou? Good to see you. Tito says, could be conspiracy theories suggest they had to global takedown of all their stuff to make changes because of the whistleblower testimony. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Tito. Here's why that doesn't seem so crazy, is Facebook is not being known as being transparent, honest, open. Those are not words we use to describe Facebook. And they're not nice. They're not good. They seem inherently evil, you know, if we're going to be honest with you. So I agree. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a conspiracy theory. I would say it's a possibility. You know, it wouldn't be unfounded to find out that was somehow connected. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it.